Okay, as you can see, I've been working on the leg some more, and I've gotten it about to the right size. And I've left my tail up here, so I've got something to attach it to the body with. And I'm going to kind of spread that out and decide about where I want to put it. I want to kind of try to separate the fibers on this so that I've got some going in every direction, just to kind of keep it more stable and keep it from flopping around. So once you get that kind of arranged the way you want to kind of place it on the form about where you want it. Make sure it kind of lines up where the other one is. Make it even. And then you're going to kind of spread your fibers around so that it's going to even out. You don't want to make a big lump in any one place. And you can go ahead and start sort of locking that into place. As you do that, you can sort of move it around and adjust it till it's just exactly in the right spot. But you'll just start kind of working it in, and as you work it in, make sure that you keep readjusting it so that it doesn't move or shift any from where you want it to be. Just make sure that you get all those loose fibers locked in around the body. Don't want to leave any little fuzzy sticking up anywhere. And you want to make sure that you go in through the leg down into the body so that you get a good connection between the leg and the body. You don't want to just do the loose fibers. You want to also go up through the leg into the body, and then also through the body down into the leg. And that's going to help connect those together and join them so that the form, see, this is still a little too loose. You want it tighter than that because that could get torn off. So you just want to keep working it down in there and working it down in there. Go from both directions. Kind of hold it in place as you're doing it. And just sort of get those joined in there really well. So you don't want the leg to come off. If it gets to the point where you've kind of got it joined on there, but it's looking a little thin around the joint where you've poked in it so much, you can take a little extra wisp of fiber and kind of wrap it around to reinforce that seam and give you a little extra bulk in there. And that'll also help just join it on there. Just make sure that whatever you do on one side, you make it symmetrical on the other side. So I'll probably want to add a little extra piece over here too, so that it kind of stays even and looks the same, and you want the same width on both of the legs and both of the hips where you're joining that. So I'll just continue to work this in and getting my leg adjusted into the position that I want. I want him to look kind of like he's standing up, like Winnie the Pooh. So I'm going to work on that for a few minutes, and then I will come back and we'll work on the final details, and I'll show you how to do the face and how to make little adjustments on the whole overall shape of everything. So we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so you can see that I've got all the parts joined onto the bear now, and it's looking pretty much like Winnie the Pooh. When I compare it to the pictures, I do think his nose is a little too short, so I think I'm going to add just a little bit onto his nose to make it stick up a little bit more. So I'm going to take just a small little amount of the roving and kind of form it into a ball. And I'm just going to mold that onto his face real quickly. That's one great thing about this, is if you get your form created and you decide that it needs a little tweaking here and there, you can just add on to it. That's why it's a good idea to always start with a little less than you think you might need, because you can always add to it later. And if you blend it in well, nobody will ever notice. So I'm just going to kind of build that out a little bit more, and I think that's looking more Winnie the Pooh-ish with his nose sticking out a little bit further. He has a little bit of a pointy nose. Now, the more you work it in, of course, the more compressed it's going to be, so you may wind up having to add a little bit more roving, but you could just keep adding on until it gets to the size and shape that you're looking for. I think I may wind up adding a little bit more because I want him to have that classic Winnie the Pooh face with kind of the turned up nose. So once I get all that loose stuff worked in, yeah, I think I'll take a little bit more and add it on there. So you can just kind of turn your piece over and over and look at all the angles, all the sides, see where it needs to be built up, see if there are any, if you've used a few different colors of wool like I did for the base color. You want to make sure that none of the base color is showing through. Make sure it's blended evenly all around if you're wanting a solid color. And you can just keep tweaking it and adjusting it. If you need to indent more in a certain area, you can just, you know, poke that area more to get to kind of shape it. This is sort of the sculpting part of the process, where you're just doing all the detailing work, getting it to look like what you want it to look like. And this is really kind of the fun part, because you've done all the building and now you're just trying to shape it into the right shape. So I'm going to keep working this in a little bit. I'm going to make sure I maintain his neck down here and keep it tight. Make sure it doesn't get too bulky. Keep a good solid neckline for him. And I think that's looking more Pooh-ish, where his nose is sticking out further like that. So I'm going to keep working on his face a little bit. I may build out his nose a little bit more, and then I'm going to come back and show you how to do the final details, like the face. So that's how you can kind of tweak your final design.